Mike, what do you say to, so now, like, people ask me, why, like, what happened? Why is Bitcoin down so much? How much more is this going to go? I don't have an answer for them, but maybe you do.
Yeah, thank you for having me back. I mean, the last time I was on, I talked about for the retail friends dollar cost averaging. It's for this type of environment. So broadly speaking, this has been a macro move. I mean, nothing's really changed in the innovation level in crypto. It's really just a market digestion of interest rate policy and financial conditions. And those have come in significantly. And so what you've got is a sell down in broad risk assets. Crypto is still very much in the risk asset side of the equation. Growth equity, SPACs, everything's gotten decimated. Crypto, given its vol and given the nascency of the asset class, has actually held in relatively well. I do think you're really riding a macro wave at the moment. So Wednesday will be an important date for crypto. But in the interim, it's kind of cautious optimism. I think the nice part is it's sort of beta one on the way down. And on the way back up, there's a lot of dispersion. You can actually pick out some babies from the bathwater. And it's a really interesting environment for an active hedge fund manager.
Yeah, I can imagine. Wednesday, of course, being a reference to the Fed meeting. You think the Fed is the reason why, basically the tightening of liquidity has pulled the rug out from under crypto? How much longer do we have to go here?
Yeah, I mean, it's broad-based deleveraging, right? So you have people kind of taking down exposure to risk assets broadly. You see that in the public markets of crypto and things like the GBTC discount. You see that in basically all of the high growth names. The most recent 12 months of IPOs have all gotten absolutely crushed. So anything in that risk asset class is just being taken down from an exposure standpoint. On the crypto side, there's been some kind of small microstructure nuance. So we'll see after the equity markets close on Friday, for example, or Thursday. We had this low liquidity window for crypto. There was no liquidity in equities, and I'm sure people got margin calls, and those margin calls triggered sell downs and things that were liquid. Crypto's liquid, and we saw these kind of wicks lower in those small windows. But the reality is, it's much more a macro story now. And so everyone talked about the institutions coming, the institutions coming. The institutions give it, and the institutions give it, taketh away. So you've got Bitcoin alongside other asset classes in systematic strategies. Bitcoin gets sold down in these types of environments just as much as growth equities do.
Yeah, I love the idea of calling crypto or Bitcoin, which is sort of, I guess, the Kleenex word for those assets, a risk asset, because that's what I think it is. I don't think you can think of it. What does the sell-off, which is 50% in Bitcoin from the highs, what does the sell-off do to the argument that cryptocurrencies are a store of value? Maybe not so much. Number two, a medium of exchange. Well, if it can't hold value, how reliable is it as a medium of exchange? Third, is it an inflation hedge? Seems not.
So I guess it all depends on your denominator, right? So as a U.S. dollar holder, as an American citizen, U.S. financial system, relative to the U.S. dollar, it's been a pretty poor store of value on a stability basis. If you are in other parts of the world where your currency, your base level currency is much more volatile and it highly fluctuates, it's probably a better store of value. So it's all kind of the perspective from which you're looking at it. Again, Bitcoin in being adopted as a store of value is still super early. I mean, the technology, the idea of encrypted value, the idea of proof of work mining, the idea of Bitcoin as an asset class is still very young. I mean, I think this is a very stark reminder, which is needed to remind people that crypto on the whole is still very new, and we're at the earliest stages of adoption, innovation. And the fact that the volatility of a very liquid public asset like crypto has only moved 50% from its highs is actually pretty, I would say, pretty powerful from my perspective.